Hi team, welcome back to the arena. So today we will be discussing about the record actions. Okay, so let's have a look at the record actions. Basically, you would have done your research, like what is a record in Appian, what is the difference between record and report in Appian. Okay, so you must have done. So basically, record is a place where we can have our all the data and we can perform certain actions from here. Okay, so let's get started. It's basically a single point focus for your data. Let's just create. We have two options. We will go with the record to create a manual one. Let's click on the here. So you can have a look here. Let's configure a new action manually. To configure a new action, what we will be doing, we will be creating an action to add customer name. Add customer. Okay. Add customer who would be taking the details with the help of any expression. You can either make use of enter name or you can with the help of expression. You can also do it. Either ways. Say add customer info. Okay, that's fine. Now we about our process model. As we had already mentioned, like we had made our process model earlier into which is in our process model objects. Let us go to hierarchical view. We had made our process model to insert values. So we will make use of this process model and paste it here. Fs to insert values, and that's all. Now we are here. We had inserted. If you want to add description, you can add. If not, then it's fine. Okay. That's all. Let's click on OK. As soon as I clicked on OK, add customer info, and I just clicked on save as. Now let's go to our record and have a look there. Let me go to my record and let me open it. So you can have a look here. Add customer info is coming. This button is coming here. Add customer info. And when I try to click on this, as per our process model, what it will do, you can also control like whether this should be open into a new window, this should open into a new tab. This can also be controlled from here. Okay, let's say I have a customer, new customer. Okay, because new customer number is 000123456. Let's say avocado, and we have our big. That's all. Now let's just click on submit. So as we had also created our, just a second, let it open. We had also created up a validation. So when the user has entered this value, when the user has entered, you just click on the refresh. It will not come here. Where it will go? It will go to the supervisor, or it will go to the senior one who will approve this request. So let's go come here and let's just validate, accept the task, and once this task is validated, then only we will be able to have a look over this new customer into our records, and then this value is inserted into our db. So you can have a look here. You can just have a look here. So now we are able to see this value here. Okay, now let's go back and try to update this value. So to update this value, we would be requiring a process model and and an expression rule to fetch the record. Okay. So what we will be doing, we will be just going back to our record type and configuring the new action or the related action, which will help us to interact with it. So let's just click on the configure a new action manually, and we would using here update details. Okay, now let's have a look at the process model. We have not a single process model. So to create a process model to update a value, first we will be creating our process model. So we can also duplicate our process model. So we would be applying there the same rule. Let's go to process model, and we had created our process model insert value. So we will duplicate this process model. This would be to update values. To update values, let's just click on the create part. As soon as I had clicked on the create part, it is asking me for the security. Just give it, because I am on this part, which is our community site, so it will be okay. Now let's remove this validation part because we don't need it. Let's just delete it. Yes. And so once we are ready, let me just put it here and attach it here. Okay. Now let me just validate it. So we have our form would look like this, and once the form is looking like this, we can directly change the values here. So that's okay. Now you can have a look at this is the first version. Now let me just save and publish it, the process model. Okay, so I had saved and published my process model. That's fine. Now it's number two. Now let's go back there and add this process model there. Where is our process model? This one. Let us to fs to update the values. Okay, to update the values, when I had just clicked here on the update values, it is showing me button, store, and which stage. In which stage in the fs store we need to pass the index here. So to pass the index here, first we need to fetch the record. So to fetch the record, we would need to require an expression which would be fetching data from our db. So to fetch data from db, we would be making an expression rule. So let's go back to our expression rules. And before that, let's have a look like what is the constant of our data store entity. So we have our food store. Let's go back here and let's create our constant. So we will be creating constant in a very efficient simple manner. Fs to fetch indexes. Okay, let's just click on the create part and it is open. Basically we have different options. So we will require, instead of requiring a subset, we will requiring a data set or a container. So what we will do, we'll just pass this value here. We'll pass a data store entity here. We need to pass the constant. So we will pass this constant here, which is our data store entity constant. And let's just click on the continue part. So once we had click on the continue part, we would require a rule input which will take the id from there. So let's just take our rule input, which will take, okay, and this would be of our type integer. Okay, let's just save it. So once we had saved, let's just apply a filter here. To apply a filter, we will be using our customer id, and apart from the value, we would be giving here an expression rule, and we would be passing this value here. It's a rule input of a customer id, so we'll be passing this value here. Let's just click on the ok part, and so we have all the data here. So it will fetch only that data which is given here. So if I just click on the test part, it will give me the result. Okay, that it is 11 item because it has all the items there, but we want only for specific certain items, so we will be using dot data. Or you can also use index, which you need to provide a default value. So that's all for now. Let me give it a 1 and let me just test the rule. So when I had clicked on the 1 and tested the rule, it is giving me every detail here which is required for me. So that's all for now. That's all for me. I will save this. So once I had saved this form, now I will use this part here into my record one. Where is my record? I will use this here into my record food store, where I'll be using, because it is a rule input. It comes under the expressions. Rule comes under the rule folder. So I will use rule bang. Then pass this value. Once I had passed this value, it will show me what it needs, what is required for it. So I will be passing this value here, and what it requires, RV bang identifier. Okay, so it requires this value, and also one more thing, like which stage we had given, like stages as one or two, read only if true and false. So we will be passing this one because this is what we had given it. So once this is done, let me just click on the OK part. Update details. Let me just enter name. Uh, Update details. Okay, that's fine for now. Let's just have a look here. We can just modify it according to our need. We can have update. What is this? Let me just use a default one. Okay, it's looking better. So we can have the size of a dialog box, large, medium, and small. So that's fine for us. Now what we'll do, we will just clicking on the OK part, and that's done for now. We have this how you want to open in the new dialog box, in the new tab, or in the same tab. So let's just click on the OK part and save change. So we had clicked on the save change. Now we will go back to our record and just refresh the record here. So once we had refreshed our record here, now we will go back to our fruit records and just click here. And once we had clicked here, you can just have a look here about this one, and we will just click on this. And once we had clicked on this, we can have a look here about these details. Now we will just go to related action and update the details from here. Like I just want it to be a customer name as one, and let me just click on the submit part. So as soon as I had clicked on the submit part, these details are there. Now you can just go to summary and have a look here that we have successfully changed this name. So in this manner you can update the record, or you can update the values of db from a record. This is the easiest way to update a value from a record. Now in the upcoming videos we will be more talking about reports. So for that, stay tuned.